Hi, this is Randy Crabtree, partner with Trimerit Specialty Tax Professionals, here with another update on our YouTube channel. What I want to talk about today is IRS came out with some pretty interesting information the end of last year regarding R&D tax credit claims. This came out October of 21, and it surprised us. This came out as actually a news release, which is not the normal way that they announce new tax regulations or new tax rules that we need to follow, but this is the way it came out. October of 21, they came out and what they said is, if you are going to file an R&D tax credit claim, and this is what it said, I'll clarify this in a minute, but what it said is, an R&D tax credit claim, you now have to put additional information with that claim, not just Form 6765, which is where the R&D tax credit is claimed, the form is claimed on, but now in addition, you're going to have to give some more information. We were all a little bit confused when this came out because this is all R&D tax credit claims. They've clarified that, and it is not. This is R&D tax credit claims on amended tax returns. This is defined October of 21. It kicked in January 10th of 22. So now we live in this time, and again, I'm sitting here in April of 22 right now. We have to put additional information in anytime we are filing an R&D tax credit claim on amended tax returns. This is amended tax returns right now only. And so what is this new requirement? What do we have to do? Well, starting January 10th of this year, if we have this amended tax return, filing an R&D tax credit claim, we have to not only, again, fill out Form 6765, we have to submit the projects that the credit was based on, which is, IRS Code Section 41 defines R&D expenses, and then in 41, there's a four-part test to determine if you qualify. The first part of that is, do you have a new or improved product, process, technique, invention, formula, or software? That's what we're going to look at. We have to identify everything that qualifies under that. So all the business components, we have to identify each one of those. It doesn't stop there. Now, on this claim, we have to identify each individual within the company who's working on that project. We have to identify the R&D activities that they were doing, and we have to identify the uncertainties they were trying to overcome, what the process of experimentation they were working on. It goes one step further and it says, in addition, you have to submit your total QREs, which is qualified research expenses. You have to submit the total for each of the expense categories, which there's really four categories. Three really main ones that we deal with are salaries and wages, outside research expenses, really it's outsourcing activities, and supply costs. There is a fourth one, which is rental of computer time. But what this new rule says is we have to identify the total expenses. We've always had to do that. That was always on Form 6765. I honestly don't know why they called that out separate, but that is something we have to do as well. These additional 5 things, really additional 4, total expenses was still there. Now we have to submit anytime there's a amended tax return, which includes the R&D tax credit. Again, January 10th, 2022, this kicked in live. So we're sitting at a time where we have to do this right now. We are in a test year for this. IRS is saying, we're going to look at this for the next year until January 9th of 23. We're going to see how this goes, and then, see if we need to make any changes in the process. The process right now is, IRS is saying they are going to look at all of these returns that's submitted on the amended tax return with all this additional information. They're going to look at that within a 6-month period, is what they've said, which it's pretty tough right now with as swamped as the IRS is, although the commissioner did just come out recently and say by the end of 22, he expects to be caught up on everything. So they're giving them 6 months to look at this. Once they look at it, they're either going to say yay or nay. Yes, we accept the additional information that you submitted and we're accepting your claim, and they'll process the return. If they don't like what you submitted on these new requirements, they're going to give you 45 days to respond to a letter that they're going to send out to you to perfect that return, to give them the additional information that they wanted to see on that return. If they don't get that 45-day response, they're basically eliminating the credit. If they get their response, they'll look at it again, and then they'll tell you if they accept it or not. This is the test period. This is the year period, January 10th of 2022 to January 9th of 23, where we're going to see this additional information and how it goes within the IRS. My concern, or I don't know if it's as much a concern, but what I think could happen, I think this is very likely, that IRS, if this goes well the next year, IRS is going to make this a requirement for all R&D tax credit claims. This is my opinion. This is where I think it may be going. We don't have to worry about that right now, but as we sit right now with this R&D tax credit claim on amended returns, we have to put out this additional information. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time here on the Tri-Merit YouTube channel.